Thanks for watching Numbskull News, and today we're talking a little Cowboys. We're going to talk about the offseason. I know it's a little early. They still have one game left. They just lost to the freaking Cardinals, and have no idea what what they're going to do in the playoffs. I don't know if they're going to be one or done or not. Depends on if they show up. But this is going to be about free agents that are coming up in 2022. Cowboys free agents, who they're going to keep, who they're going to resign, what the hell is going to happen. So I'm going to start with some of the biggest names first and work my way down from there. So let's go. Leighton Vander, Esch, LVE, Wolf Hunter. He's gone. It's that simple. He's gone. Number 11 has taken his place. And look, linebackers, unfortunately, we could find another Vander Esch. He's a good linebacker. He'll get paid pretty well in the free agent market, and Dallas just doesn't have the kind of free agency now that we paid Dak to keep a guy like Vander Esch around. And really, I don't mind letting him go. I really don't. I mean, when he first came up, when we first drafted his first couple years, it looked like, man, this guy's the next great linebacker. But he's dealt with a lot of injuries. He's pretty good, but my God, you get a guy like Parsons, and it makes you realize, okay, Vander Esch is really not not what we thought he was. He's good, but not that good. So, all I can say is enjoy your last couple of games here, Mr. Leighton, and peace out and good luck to you. Next up is Connor Williams, gone, just gone. The Cowboys have been trying to replace him. He's not been super great. When everyone's healthy, he is the weak link. But, on the free agent market, because he has a couple years of service time in, so he's a seasoned veteran now, he'll get paid. He won't get like a top guard spot anywhere. He won't get that top guard money. But, he'll do okay. And he'll find a starting job somewhere. But the Cowboys, we can go into the draft and find another guy that's comparable to Connor Williams. I don't know if there's anyone we have right now that is. But, Connor McGovern is pretty close. He's not that far off. So that kind of makes Connor Williams very expendable. So bye-bye. And Michael Gallup, man. I would have said gone. But he just had a horrible injury. He's out for the rest of this year. And that really sucks because Michael Gallup's good. He's really, really good. On any team in the NFL, he is probably one of the best number 2 receivers, period. End of story. He's that good. But I don't know what this injury is going to do to him as far as what he can command in the offseason. I don't know if someone, a team's going to say, look, we'll pay you, we'll give you a 1-year deal. And, if he's only going to get a 1-year deal, he might be back here. I mean, I don't know. But that's very possible. But then again, we've seen it happen many times where a guy of his caliber still gets a multi-year deal for another team. And that's, I don't know if it's 50-50. It's hard to say just yet. But I say that more than likely he's still going to be gone because someone's going to pay him a ridiculous amount of money. They'll understand the injury, but they're like, look, guys get injured all the time, maybe have some surgery, and he'll be back next year, and he'll be a really solid, outstanding number 2 receiver for somebody. Unfortunately, it just won't be with Dallas. That's what I'm thinking. Dalton Schultz. Now, this is a tragedy because he's going to be gone. He's going to command way too much money on the open market. He has great chemistry with Dak. The thing he doesn't do well at all, he's not a good blocker. I've seen him damn near get Dak killed a few times. He's not a good blocker at all, but he's a good route runner. He's got good hands. He's dependable. He's a fighter, man. I really like Dalton Schultz. I thought that was a solid draft pick. But unfortunately, we already paid another guy. Now, maybe if you can get Dalton a little on the cheaper side, You cut the guy you paid. I should have wrote down his name. I didn't. But the other tight end that is always freaking hurt that we paid like last year. I don't know. I don't know if you can swing Dalton Schultz as well. I would love it if they did, but I'm really thinking he's probably going to be gone, and that sucks. Randy Gregory. Here's another one. It's unless there's a big hometown discount, unless he just feels, I don't know, safe with Dallas, because we've stood by him this whole time, and if he decides, hey, I'll give you a little price cut, because he's going to get off a big offer. That's just going to happen. He's going to get a 2 or 3 year deal somewhere from somebody, and it's going to be for probably double-digit millions a year, and I don't know if Dallas right now can swing that kind of money for Randy. I'd love it if they did, but, they still got Lawrence. Parsons is still under a rookie deal, and both those guys are outstanding rushers. It may be one of those things where you just, you don't need to spend $10 million a year for Randy Gregory. You may not even need to spend $8 million a year. Unless it's one of those things where he just wants to be in Dallas and is willing to take, well below market value for what he does. I don't know. I tell you the truth, I don't know if he'll be willing to do that, because this is going to be his last chance, really, at his age, to get paid. And because he's unfortunately squandered a lot of his career, and it's not all his fault. He's had some head issues. He's had, some mental problems. And that's what brought on the whole weed thing and the suspensions and all that. So, I would love to see Randy Gregory back. I just don't think that's going to happen. Dorce Armstrong, he's gone. I'm telling you right now, the Cowboys are pretty loaded on the defensive line. Even if you lose Randy Gregory, I mean, why are you going to pay Dorce Armstrong? I mean, he's not bad. He's not. He's going to get overpaid somewhere in the league, and that's the biggest reason he's going to be gone, because the Dallas Cowboys aren't going to look to spend $6 to $8 million a year. Somewhere in that range is probably what old Dorance is going to get, and you don't have to pay him that. You can find another defensive end comparable to him in the draft next year, even if you're drafting in the 20s somewhere. It's not going to be a problem. So goodbye. All right, next up is Keanu Neal, and it's going to be one of those tricky deals. He's hurt a lot, and that's going to hurt his value on the open market. He could very well sign for a 1 year deal, possibly back with us again. I wouldn't, especially with Leighton going to be gone, I could see them re-signing Keanu Neal, but it's going to be dependent on the money. I don't think anyone's going to offer him anything outrageously stupid, but if they do, he's gone. But if it's a 1 year kind of deal, and it may very well be that for not a ton of money, I could see him coming back. So right now, I would say 60-40, he's back with the Cowboys. That's if someone else doesn't get really, really stupid. Next up is Jayron Kearse, and I am saying keep. Every single solitary Cowboys fan out there wants the Cowboys to re-sign Jayron Kearse. He's earned more money. He's a really good safety, hard hitter, playmaker. There's nothing bad to say about Jayron Kearse. They found the diamond in the rough. There may be a market, but really, the position of safety does not get paid a ton anymore. Every year you're seeing these big names, at safety, in the open market every offseason. And those guys, it takes them forever to get signed, and it's not usually for the money that they think they can get. So Jayron Kearse isn't going to be, insanely expensive. And since, a lot of guys are going, like, Durance, Leighton, people like that, you can afford to keep Jayron Kearse at a reasonable deal. Safety just does not, they don't get paid like they used to get paid. Only the very, very elite guys get paid anymore. And Jayron, as good as he is, he's not elite, but he's really good. And I think you can get him on a nice deal. I mean, you may even overpay a little bit and still not really hurt yourself. All right, the other ones, I'm just going to run through real quick. I wrote them down. So, let's see. Malik Hooker. It's possible you bring Malik Hooker back. He's had a pretty decent season with Dallas. Off and on again injured. Probably won't be a ton of money. And, I think he has some value to the Cowboys because he adds depth. And depth guys don't get a ton of money. So bringing him back on a 1-year deal is probably going to happen. Cedric Wilson, they're probably looking at keeping him. And he's going to have a really good, he's looked good when Michael Gallup's been out, which has been most of the year. And now he's going to be out the rest of the year. So Cedric Wilson really has an opportunity to show and spotlight himself. And let's say the Cowboys do go on a run in the playoffs and Cedric Wilson, has big moments. That's going to really up his value. So now how things are that he's the number 3 guy and he's going to get those targets, those Gallup targets. We may lose him because he's not going to have, he may get overpaid in the market. I mean, wide receivers still get paid, y'all. They get paid big money. Michael Gallup was on track before the injury to get a multi-year deal for 12 to 14 million, maybe more a year. That's why he's gone. And he still may get that. Cedric Wilson, if he goes on a run and everyone's like, whoa, this guy's already had a pretty nice year. He's just kind of caught up in the mix with all the weapons Dallas has. And if he really has a nice run in the playoffs, and you combine that with the year he's had, he may end up with a big $10 million a year deal as well in the offseason. So he could very well be gone. And I thought, Cedric Wilson, they would re-sign him on a pretty decent deal to take up for the slack Michael Gallup will leave. But he may be gone too. That's just the reality of the situation. We'll have to wait and see. But, will someone offer him, a 3-year at $24 million? That'd be $8 million a year, and that's probably enough to get Cedric Wilson out the door. So, and if he has a nice run, he can get that or more. So yeah, I was saying that he was just a no-brainer to keep him, but I think how things have worked out, he may very well be gone. I'll be surprised if the Dallas Cowboys are able to bring back Cedric Wilson. And if they do and don't overpay for him, I'm cool with it because he's a good player. Noah Brown is a free agent, and now this is going to matriculate down to him because Noah Brown is not going to command a lot of money at all, and he's not as good as any other. He's basically he's our number 4 guy, and he's that's kind of where he is. I don't know if he's good enough to be a number 3 or not, and he's like I said, he's not going to command a ton of money, so. I think especially if you lose, Michael Gallup and a good chance of losing Cedric Wilson, they're going to bring Noah Brown back. I say there's a much higher likelihood they bring him back, and it'll be for a cheap deal. You're talking maybe $1 or $2 million a year, somewhere in that neighborhood for Noah Brown, and he'll be happy to have it because he's all right. He's a good depth guy, but good depth guys don't get overpaid. Ty Nsekhe, and they're going to bring him back. I have a huge feeling they're going to bring him back. He played admirably this year, with injuries and things like that. He's done all right, and it seems like the coaching staff like him and they trust him. And he won't command big money on the open market. At least I don't see it. He's a backup. You definitely feel it if he has to play. Like Dak feels it if he has to play, but he's not going to get your guy killed totally. He's not, just a horrific guy. He's good if he has to play a couple of games, and it's not a problem. So Ty Nsekhe will come back, and he'll get a little pay bump, but it won't be a ton of money. And then there's Carlos Watkins. Again, it's a depth guy and a guy who's familiar with how things work. As far as I know, they don't hate Mr. Watkins. But again, he's going to be a really cheap defensive end, and they'll keep him around for depth at a little bit more money. And like I said, he's familiar with the system. You kind of know what you have in him. Maybe he'll get a little better. Maybe not. But if anything, so special teams depth, But they'll probably, throw a little money at him to keep him around. I don't doubt it. Well, that's all the free agents I give a damn about talking about, because everyone else, okay, if you don't sign, if you just let all the other guys go, that are free agents this year, you can easily replace them with, off the scrap heap guys in free agency or the draft. Anyway, that's all I have with the Cowboys. Free agency 2022. Hopefully they have a nice run in the playoffs. God, I'd give anything for them to get to the Super Bowl. After this Cardinals game, though, I have serious reservations about that. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll be back with some other crap sometime. Bye.